we're also talking about this extraordinary story that's broken over the weekend in Rochdale in Greater Manchester about the Labour candidate who has made some comments which can only, in my view, be regarded as deeply anti-Semitic. And joining me now is Zoe Grunwald, political correspondent at The Independent, to discuss this and all the other political stories. Zoe, thank you very much for joining us here on TalkTV. This is a big problem for Keir Starmer, isn't it? Because he spent the last 18 months telling us that the Labour Party has changed. It's no longer an anti-Semitic party. They will never go back. And to have the secret recording of his candidate in a by-election taking place later this month splashing on the front page of national newspapers has got to be the last thing he wanted, surely.
This is a really big problem for Keir Starmer. As you say, the Labour Party has made a really concerted effort to show that it has distanced itself from allegations of anti-Semitism. But now, of course, what we're seeing is remarks that you say have been captured on a secret recording about from their candidate in Rochdale regarding a conspiracy theory about Israel's knowledge of the October 7th attack. Now, this is really problematic for Starmer because even if he did want to replace the candidate, you are not able to, according to law, conventions from the Electoral Commission. So at present, Labour have no option but to keep the candidate in place, or they can withdraw support or withdraw campaigning. You know, they could even back another candidate if they wanted to. But at this point, it's too late to remove Mr. Azhar Ali from the ballot. So this is quite problematic for Labour.
So they can't just let me probe you there, because they can't remove him from the ballot, but he could no longer be the Labour candidate. It may well be that the ballot papers have already been printed and his name will still appear with the Labour logo alongside of it. But they can say he is no longer their candidate. They can effectively remove the whip before he's even got it, couldn't they?
Yeah, that's right. They can withdraw their support from him. You know, they could say that they are not backing him. You know, that has actually been done before. I think in a 2019, I think, general election, the SNP candidate had the whip removed or was suspended from the party and stood as an independent, won the seat in Scotland and then joined the party again, I think about a year later. So it's not unheard of for that to happen. But as you say, Labour is sticking with Mr. Ali. They say that they back his candidacy, they back his apology. And they say his apology was genuine. And I think the shadow minister on the media around this morning said that he had fallen for a online conspiracy theory about Israel. Now, whether this will be enough to satiate people who are concerned about anti-Semitism in the Labour Party is a different matter. We have seen that the Jewish Labour movement have basically come out and said, although they're deeply disappointed with his remarks, they understand the sort of predicament or the bind that Labour is in with the candidacy.
So isn't the point about this, though, that I know something we should all be really concerned about? The Labour Party says, we've got rid of Jeremy Corbyn. He's, in fact, still a member of the Labour Party, but we've got rid of him as the leader of the Labour Party, so it is still Corbyn's Labour Party, if being a member matters to them. We've completely changed. We're no longer anti-Semitic. Moving away from this candidate, I think the real issue is, and I'm a Lancashire Conservative, so I know a bit about how political parties are set up in Lancashire, that a very senior, albeit not a by-election candidate at the time, but the leader of the opposition group on Labour County Council could make a statement like this in what will be a very large meeting with maybe members of Parliament, maybe other council leaders in, we don't know, but it was a pan-Lancashire Labour meeting, could make a statement like this at a large Labour meeting and not be challenged at it, not be called out. I mean, he may have been, but we don't think he was. And someone having to make a secret recording to flag this. Doesn't that show that whatever the Labour Party say, once you get outside the M25, move past the Islington Conservatives or whatever it may be, the Labour Party hasn't changed? And isn't that the real problem for Keir Starmer, is they've changed the captain, but they've not changed the team?
Well, I think you're right that there will be questions about how these comments could have gone kind of unquestioned in a Labour Party meeting, and why somebody felt the need to make a secret recording, you know, why this wasn't flagged beforehand. As you say, I mean, in all parties across the political landscape, there are issues with anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and the parties can do their best to root them out. But absolutely, this is something I wouldn't be surprised if Labour launched an investigation into this, because, as you say, they're unacceptable comments, and for them to kind of go unchallenged brings a whole raft of new questions for the Labour leadership about how they're dealing with anti-Semitism.
Zoe, thank you so much for dealing with us. And of course, the Labour candidate, Azhar Ali, has issued an unreserved apology. I'll read it out for you just so you can hear it at home. I apologise unreservedly to the Jewish community for my comments, which were deeply offensive, ignorant and false. Hamas's horrific terror attack was the responsibility of Hamas alone, and they are still holding hostages who must be released. October the 7th was the greatest loss of Jewish life in a single day since the Holocaust, and Jews in the UK and across the world are living in fear of rising anti-Semitism. I will urgently apologise to Jewish leaders for my inexcusable comments. The Labour Party has changed unrecognisably under Keir Starmer's leadership. He has my full support in delivering the change that Britain needs. And of course, if you live in Rochdale, you have 11 candidates to choose from. Azhar Ali is standing for the Labour Party. Mark Coleman is standing for the Independents. Simon Danchuk for Reform UK. Ian Donaldson for the Liberal Democrat. Paul Ellison for the Conservatives. George Galloway for the Workers' Party of Britain. Michael Howarth for the Independents. William Howarth is an independent. Guy Oaten is the Green Party's candidate. Raven Rodent Subortina is the official Monterey Raving Loony Party candidate, and David Tully is the independent. So you have got a lot of candidates to choose from on the 29th.